The tension in the West Philippine Sea continues to escalate as the Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP, once again confronted Chinese vessels operating illegally near Ayungin Shoal. This latest incident underscores the ongoing maritime dispute between Manila and Beijing, as the Philippines continues to assert its sovereign rights over the resource-rich waters within its exclusive economic zone, EEZ. Reports confirm that Philippine troops stationed at the BRP Sierra Madre, a grounded Navy ship serving as an outpost on Ayungin Shoal, detected several Chinese fishing boats conducting illegal fishing activities within Philippine waters. These vessels were allegedly escorted by China Coast Guard ships, which have been frequently accused of harassing Filipino fishermen and naval personnel in the area. According to military sources, the AFP deployed patrol boats and coordinated with the Philippine Coast Guard to drive away the Chinese vessels. The operation was swift but tense, as the Chinese boats initially refused to leave the area. Filipino naval units reportedly performed standard maneuvers and radio challenges, asserting that the Chinese were operating within the Philippines, EEZ as defined under the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Eventually, after hours of standoff, the Chinese fishing vessels retreated toward the direction of Mischief Reef, another disputed feature controlled by Beijing. Officials confirmed that the armed forces' presence was part of a broader effort to protect the nation's maritime interests and prevent the illegal exploitation of marine resources. Ayungin Shoal, also known internationally as Second Thomas Shoal, lies about 105 nautical miles from Palawan and well within the Philippines, 200 nautical mile EEZ. Despite this, China continues to claim almost the entire South China Sea through its so-called 9-dash line, which has already been invalidated by the 2016 Hague Tribunal ruling. However, Beijing has ignored the decision, maintaining constant patrols and deploying vessels to assert de facto control over several reefs and shoals. The AFP emphasized that these repeated incursions and illegal activities are not only violations of international law but also direct threats to Philippine sovereignty and food security. The illegal fishing conducted by Chinese vessels has severely affected Filipino fishermen, who have been forced to stay away from traditional fishing grounds due to the risk of harassment by Chinese Coast Guard ships. Satellite images and recent patrol reports have shown that hundreds of tons of marine life are being extracted by Chinese trawlers in the West Philippine Sea, depleting local fish stocks and damaging coral reefs. The Department of National Defense, DND, released a statement commending the AFP and Coast Guard for their quick response, reaffirming that the Philippines will continue to protect its sovereign rights through peaceful but firm means. The DND also stressed that Manila will not be intimidated by China's actions and will strengthen its coordination with allies to ensure maritime security. This latest confrontation is one of many in recent months, with similar incidents occurring near Escoda Shoal, Sabina Shoal, and Reed Bank. Defense analysts noted that the Philippine Armed Forces' increasing assertiveness reflects the government's firm stance under the current administration. The president has ordered a more proactive defense posture, enhancing maritime patrols and establishing closer military cooperation with allies such as the United States, Japan, and Australia. Joint maritime patrols in the West Philippine Sea have become more frequent, signaling that Manila is determined to resist China's aggression through collective defense and diplomacy. Observers also pointed out that these confrontations highlight the growing importance of Ayungin Shoal as a strategic location in the South China Sea. The grounded BRP Sierra Madre, manned by a small group of Filipino Marines, serves as a symbolic and physical assertion of Philippine sovereignty. China has repeatedly demanded that the Philippines remove the ship, calling it an illegal grounding, but Manila has refused, stating that it is within Philippine territory. Each time the AFP conducts resupply missions to the outpost, Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels attempt to block or shadow the operation, often leading to dangerous encounters at sea. International reactions to the latest incident have been swift. The United States reaffirmed its mutual defense treaty with the Philippines, stating that any armed attack on Philippine forces, vessels, or aircraft in the South China Sea would trigger its defense obligations. Japan and Australia also expressed concern over China's actions, calling for the respect of international law and the freedom of navigation. The European Union echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing that stability in the South China Sea is vital for global trade and regional security. Meanwhile, Chinese state media dismissed the Philippines' account, accusing Manila of provocation and violating China's sovereignty. Beijing maintains that its fishing vessels are operating within Chinese waters, despite the 2016 international ruling that declared China's 9-line claims invalid. Experts say that China's strategy involves constant presence and intimidation to wear down smaller claimant states like the Philippines. By maintaining fleets of fishing vessels, often disguised as maritime militia, Beijing aims to assert control without direct military confrontation. For Filipino fishermen, however, the issue is deeply personal. Many of them have lost their livelihoods due to China's aggressive tactics. Reports from Palawan and Zambales indicate that local fishing communities have seen declining catches and increased danger at sea. Some fishermen have been chased away with water cannons or blocked from entering their traditional fishing zones. The AFP's recent operation gave these communities a glimmer of hope that their government is now taking stronger measures to protect them. The Philippine Navy has also started to modernize its fleet to better defend the country's maritime borders. New patrol ships, surveillance drones, and radar systems are being deployed to improve maritime domain awareness. The recent acquisition of Japanese-made ships and upcoming delivery of submarines from France and South Korea signify the country's determination to strengthen its defense capability. Defense officials believe that a modern and well-equipped navy is essential for deterring future incursions and maintaining a credible presence in contested waters. Diplomatic experts suggest that while the Philippines should continue to engage China through dialogue, it must also solidify its alliances and develop its defense industries. The government's recent decision to allow joint maritime exercises and enhance the Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, with allied nations has been welcomed by the public, who increasingly support a stronger defense stance. Public sentiment in the Philippines has shifted significantly, with many citizens calling for the government to stand firm against Chinese bullying and to protect national dignity. In the coming months, the Philippines is expected to file another diplomatic protest against China's illegal fishing and harassment activities. The Department of Foreign Affairs, DFA, has already filed dozens of protests this year, though China has largely ignored them. Nevertheless, these actions are vital for establishing a record of China's violations and maintaining international awareness of the ongoing conflict. Manila is also pushing for a stronger code of conduct in the South China Sea through ASEAN negotiations, though progress has been slow due to Beijing's influence over some member states. The armed forces' recent move to drive away Chinese boats from Ayungin Shoal demonstrates both courage and determination. Despite limited resources and constant pressure from a more powerful adversary, Filipino soldiers and sailors continue to defend their nation's maritime front lines. The incident once again reminds the world that the struggle for the West Philippine Sea is not just a geopolitical issue, it is a fight for sovereignty, livelihood, and national pride. The situation remains fluid, and future confrontations are likely as China continues its expansionist activities. However, with growing international support and a more confident military, the Philippines is no longer standing quietly in the face of aggression. The nation's message is clear: the West Philippine Sea belongs to the Filipino people, and the armed forces will continue to protect it at all costs.